interested in knowing what I'm going to maybe say to them or her, because you don't know. You are preempting. Actually, you are doing a pre-judgment before you actually even go for the outing.
Yes.
So Fevan, you already know what I'm going to tell you in your head without even necessarily going on a date.
The fact that you're asking me to go for a date, yes,
But then,
you're driving to that.
There is a certain stereotype that gets into people's minds that if somebody really says yes to something, they are really desperate about it.
Exactly.
That is not the whole of that day.
Hi guys, welcome to Sonic Conversations, where we talk about real life, different mindsets and relationships. I'm your host, Dana.
And I'm Bennett. And today we are talking about decoding the power of no. It's an interesting topic. And we are pleased to have our favorite people here.
We have Brian from Kit Events and Fevan from Tax Visions.
Yes, Brian. How is Kit Events? Who is Brian? Tell us more about Brian.
Brian is just a simple human being.
Yeah.
Just a simple human being, and we just specialize in crafting bespoke, unforgettable, and memorable experiences that stand the test of time. That is Kit Events, and that's who we are.
Okay.
Yes.
We are really pleased to have you on
You're
set
most
today.
welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here anytime.
I can't wait you hosting my event.
By the way, guys, he's the best events planner could
Anytime,
come across.
anytime.
Okay.
I'm Fevan from Lux Visuals, a graphics designer and an animator. Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
You're
most
welcome. Yeah, well, so guys, this topic is really, I can't say it's sensitive, but it's interesting, really. We've all had, we know, we are familiar with the word no.
Yes,
Like
yes,
no
yes.
means refusal. When someone says no, they are disagreeing to it. They don't want to do it. But then in some circumstances, no might mean yes. Like a stereotype where no might mean yes. So what do you understand?
To the ladies.
Yes.
But me, my no is a no. When I say no, unless otherwise.
So
But
that conversation is just coming here, Diana, but I can guarantee you, where we are absent or where we are not, your no is an automatic yes.
Okay, yes, why you're absent?
Yes.
Mine, no, obviously.
Definitely. Then why do you want to say no and you mean it in public, and yet when you are somewhere, your no is actually meaning a yes?
You know, historically, women, we've been
Like that.
Yes, we've been
Just
taught
like
to
that.
either say maybe or okay, not to hurt someone's feelings,
Not
but
sure.
there are some ladies, if she says no,
No, she
it
means
is a
no.
No, but what makes you think people, when the ladies say no, like women are like that laissez-faire kind of feeling that we all think the same way. Yet in actual sense, we are all different, like different character, different backgrounds, and so on and so forth. So it's totally a different perspective when someone says no, because you get ladies who are like yes and no is a no.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you get people who are like a yes is a yes. They don't want to waste time.
Well, I think here we are trying to mean different things. It depends on what you're trying to say. You might say maybe you're trying to push, like you're trying to date me, and you're like, I like you, Vichi, can we go out? And I'm like, no. When I really mean no, I don't want to go out with you. But then in some cases, you like the guy, he also likes you, but you don't want to say no. You don't want to say yes immediately.
Yeah, so you have to say no.
Yeah.
And he has to keep on.
Yes, women are supposed to be chaste.
Chasing for how long?
Not that long, but
But what if in the process of chasing, someone comes and takes the man? Then what would you say?
Yes, that would be unfortunate because you see,
And for how long will they keep coming?
Brian,
they will keep coming.
Let me ask.
This for years.
Brian, let me ask.
Before Bennett comes in, Fevan, so for you in actual sense, you would wish to go out. But then you are saying a no simply because you want to prolong the conversation.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't just want to say yes.
Yes,
Seems
you
like
have
I'm
to-
desperate.
You have to play
I
hard
say
to
no,
get.
such to keep coming back.
Pola.
We enjoy that Kalito, but
yes.
I can't immediately say yes.
Yeah.
Brian, let me ask a question. You're a guy.
Yes.
If you're trying to date a lady, you're trying to push out with Fevan, and then you just go and you're like, hi, hi, I like you. Can we go on a date today, this evening? And then she immediately says yes. What would you think of her?
A red
Like
flag.
But
yes.
It's not necessarily a red flag.
No, most men.
No.
Most men.
What would you think?
I can't
of her?
say
No,
yes
there
immediately.
is a certain stereotype that gets into people's minds that if somebody really says yes to something, they are really desperate about it.
Exactly.
That is not the whole of that day. Because, for example, going on a date could be definitely me getting to know who you are. For example, I could be interested in knowing exactly who you are, and you're interested in knowing who I am, and that is it.
Yes.
But then, why would I put a red flag to somebody who maybe is interested in knowing what I'm going to maybe say to them or her? Because you don't know. You are preempting. Actually, you are doing a prejudgment before you actually even go for the outing.
Yes.
So, Fevan, you already know what I'm going to tell you in your head without even necessarily going on a
The
date.
fact that you're asking me to go for a date,
But then,
you're driving to that.
Let me ask you something, Fevan, to be particular. What comes to your mind when someone asks you for a date?
What comes to my
Yes.
mind? You want to get to know me, hang around with me, like be with me, like be in my space. And I might not want that, me personally.
Okay.
And then you want to know me, but do I really want you to know me? So
Okay. Thank you so very much. I want to ask you something that is very simple. When someone says, okay, Fevan, could we do maybe coffee this evening?
No, but
like,
anyway,
it depends on the person.
Yeah, it depends.
which
Yes.
person it
Because not.
What I'm against is someone being given a red flag simply because she has accepted to have coffee with a guy.
You
Because
see,
what is happening is that you are preempting what this guy is going to say without even necessarily giving him an ear.
Yeah.
That is where we are getting it wrong. So I want somebody who says yes. It's not criminal.
No, it's
yes,
not
no, it's not
bad,
criminal,
but
but
if you're trying
I
to me, Brian, I have some car interest in you. Then you come to me and you're like, can we go for a coffee? Obviously, I don't want to look desperate.
Yes.
Nja kugamba, no. Because me, in my head, I'll be like, when mugamba, yes, I jagamba.
Yeah, maybe you'll be like, not today, I'm fixed. Even when you don't have anything to do in the evening, you're like, maybe we can do next time. Today I'm fixed. At least you put that card delay so that he's like, okay.
Not a prolonged one.
Yes, but so that that's when you're interested in the guy. But then there are also circumstances where you're not interested at all, and really means no. Like you're like,
Which I agree.
Yes.
I want to ask you something. How do you measure the time? And you're like, really? Yes. Now I think I'm fit to go out on that date.
You see, there's nothing. No, you see, there is nothing like
tomorrow,
There is
yeah.
nothing like.
If it's meant to be, it will be.
There is
If you're meant to
nothing
be
like
mine, it will be mine.
There is nothing like measuring. Katonda inegrigia tutonda mufa abakazi. Nti obviously it's automatic. The plan yange najikubye. Brand lero ngenda kugamba no. You pursue.
Okay. Now, what if in a given situation you are saying a no, but yet in actual sense you want to mean a yes? For example, I asked maybe Diana for maybe a coffee date this evening, and then you say no. Yeah, we are almost in the same working space. You see my car driving out, and then you definitely get to jump onto the car. Maybe you need me to drop you off somewhere.
I've changed my mind.
Yeah.
Wait, is that
Yes.
you really don't know what you want.
You will not understand.
What you want.
Ladies,
And really, your no was not a no.
Yes.
It was a yes.
It was not a no.
but
It was
has
not
to be
a no. But as I
Let me
say,
tell you something.
I have to first tell you.
What do you lose by saying a yes?
Idea. If I have interest in you, I can't just say
You guys
yes
did not
immediately.
like a nice food. And you're disappointed with your nose.
First, listen. You know why it's hard for you to understand the men? Because we are like weather. It's shining now. It's going to rain the next day. Are you aware?
You know. That's something funny. I've ever seen a guy like in the same workspace, and you're like, guy smells good, drives a good car, he has a good position in there. And it's like, Fevan, can we do coffee this evening?
I can still
And
refuse.
I've not finished.
okay.
It's like, you said no. Yeah? And when you say no, you see the guy stepping out, and you pretend as if you want to buy something, for example, from Friend's supermarket. Yet along the way, you definitely want to get into his space because you know there is a collision somewhere somehow. So by coincidence, like it or not, it happens, and he asks you, "Fabian, what are you going to buy?" And you're like, "I wanted to buy some coffee." No. We could actually, I'm still on the program. That is if you've made up your what?
Your mind.
Your mind. But inside your mind, you really want to get into this.
Auntie, there you're sending signals indirectly. You just don't have to be like.
Okay, let's use relationships.
But it's an indication. It's an indicator that in the beginning, your no wasn't really a no.
Exactly.
Yes, in that particular circumstance,
Yes.
but there are circumstances whereby a no is a no. I'm going to use relationships. Brand Jakujewaka. Nganze mwana ziri mu mood okugambe no ngogambe maybe she's playing had to date. So we have to respect boundaries. We have to understand that no is a word we refuse.
Or maybe there's this person, maybe when you're out like with the rest of the guys, you know you're outgoing, you're social, you're interacting with everyone, but then there's that particular person you don't interact much with. You're friends with everyone, but then there's that particular person you're like, I'm not so free with this one. But then they think everything is just okay, like they can do anything to you, so they're like, they're all over you, what, and you say no, they don't want to hear it because you're friendly to everyone. They just, so yeah, you just start touching me, and I don't want, I don't know.
And you think I'm just playing around with them.
We might be friends, but if you come and you're like, hi Benny, hi, those touchy things, man, some of you give us X, but
okay, while I may agree, in certain situations, some people mean they know, and it will definitely stand strong. And I mean for the women that stand on their ground and on their feet, and they say, a no is a no. But where I'm against women that really don't have a decisive mind.
Yes.
They are torn in between lines. They don't know what they really want. And it creates a narrative that if somebody cannot make a decision, really, is she someone that maybe I need to carry or move on life with? Because there are certain situations whereby the world will not wait for you to dilly-dally and take your time.
Exactly.
They ask you, Fabian, are you taking on this or no? By the time you say you are making up your mind or you are thinking about it, someone has already taken it up. So while I may agree that in particular situations, for a lady that says no, and they mean the no, they stand on their ground. For example, it is out of respect that you cannot just touch a woman anyhow. You understand?
Yes.
And then also the mere fact that maybe she has dressed the way she has dressed, it does not guarantee you.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Yes.
But that aside, it does not necessarily mean that maybe the way she's dressed is the right way to dress.
Yes.
So it is a two-way. I don't know if you're able to get my
we get
perspective. So I want to respect you by maybe because the way you dressed makes people get different versions on how to think about so many other things.
Yeah.
By the time you drive out of here and you step out there, the border guys are
I think is like, it doesn't mean, since I'm in a mini skirt, it doesn't mean when I pass by border guys, they're like, hey, they touch my thighs and all.
That I don't agree.
Yes.
But also I want to let the ladies or women out there that if you stand on your ground and you mean your no is a no,
yes.
I'm 100% behind you. What because not every girl that is coming into your life literally wants to date you. I think you can agree with me.
Yes.
Yeah, because you can ask someone. There's a day I asked a lady, what do you do? What do you do?
Yeah.
Like, I'm interested in knowing the kind of job that you do, and then see how people business in my space can be of support. For example, I ask you, Ben, what do you do for a living? And then you tell me, I sell bags. Who knows that maybe my wife or my girlfriend is interested in a bag? Or maybe my friend, maybe Walter or Cass or anybody else is interested in purchasing a particular bag. Now, you may want to dilly-dally, but in the long run, you're losing
Out.
business.
Yes.
So I want to agree 100% that if someone means he's not, well and good. But in situations, it's not that everybody who is asking you something or is asking
They're after relationships and sexual relationships.
They're after undressing you typically, get to use you and then dump you. Most times they're extremely very serious things. I asked a lady, real life, what do you do?
What was her response?
Her response was, why do you want to ask? What do you want to do? You understand that kind of narrative?
Yeah.
But it is a simple answer.
Yes.
What do you?
I think our minds as ladies have been corrupted
And that is the
somehow.
narrative. Let me tell you.
Historically.
That is the narrative. Such conversations are bound to change.
Yes.
You change the perspective on how you think. Because, for example, why do people say that is the nature of us women? You understand my perspective?
Because originally that's how it has been. Yes, every guy, you see, like every guy who has been coming in your inbox, they are just after sex, or like that's how it has always been.
Okay.
Yeah, but maybe now society has changed.
This phone gets phone calls from all people, particular sex. Could be women, could be men. And as someone in the events planning business, you get new contacts every now and then. I can guarantee you the percentage of women reaching out are more than the men, because the women get to interest their husbands to be into the event planning business simply because they don't want to have stress as they plan their big days. Now, my question is, should someone or whoever comes and asks me, who are you and what do you do? Should I presume they're interested in me? No.
You see, let me give an example.
There are questions that will be asked.
Yeah.
Now, someone will come and ask you, what do you do? That is. Why would you say no?
Yes.
But there. How should I phrase it? Those questions.
But let me give an example, Brian. Do you know that a lady's phone, most of her contacts, like should I say 80% of the contacts, the guys that are in among those contacts have asked her out somehow, but then she refused and they just played it because they are now friends in the contacts. And then maybe others were friends, but then in the long run, maybe they were just all busy and what? At some point they've texted sexual, which he texts to her.
But so do you know that there are also certain situations, Trevor and Diana and Benny, that someone while is interested maybe in pursuing who you are, and maybe certain things don't work out, you realize that you have bigger projects to work on together in a due process.
Yes.
You understand? And then maybe in the first step, denying him or her a chance to maybe meet you, you would have denied a potential business aspect somewhere, somehow.
Yeah.
You understand? So my question as we have this conversation is, can we think about it broadly and then get to narrow it down and remove this aspect of we women? Because I've actually met women who tell me, who told you that we are we.
It's me. Is you me? Are you me?
That's why I said earlier, me as me. My no is a no.
Thank you.
So if you interpret it in a way that maybe her no is meaning the yes, that is up to you.
Guys,
me, my no is a no.
Aside all that,
on what?
Aside all that, let's take it back to relationships and in a romantic setting, like kind of way.
Yes.
Where situations where you're out, or your guy is out, or your husband is out, or boyfriend, and then they're coming home, and then you're like, he's like, can I bring you something? You're like, no. We are talking about romantic settings. You're like, no. And then the guy gets home, he doesn't even have chocolate, he doesn't have anything, like nothing at all. Like, are you really supposed to act that way, like with your partner? If I say no, like you're supposed to think outside the box. I'm a girl, I'm your wife.
No.
Like, bring something.
It's like a visitor coming to your place, Brian. And you ask the visitor, obviously the visitor may say,
can we get to differentiate those two aspects? Because I can give you an example. Maybe you could be pregnant, for example, and I'm driving home. Along the way, the nature or state in which you are in reacts differently to certain things. Today you may wish to have fruits, maybe watermelon and pineapple.
Yes.
Tomorrow it is not the same story. You may wish to have a mango, or you may wish to have an orange, and so on and so forth. I've taken the courtesy of asking you if you would wish to maybe pick this and this. I'm asking depending on a particular situation that in which you are going through. Would I be wrong to ask you about what you want so that I can carry along with it home? Other than it, when you tell me no, I'll definitely drive home. Simply because in the situation you are in, there are mood swings, there is you reacting to certain things differently. Now I get home and then
Women are complicated.
in the house.
Yes.
You're saying
Fire in the house.
you've understood I'm pregnant and all. I
Yes,
have
that's the
mood swings
situation
and
of
all.
pregnancy.
And you've called, you're like, should I pass my friend or something and bring something? And I'm like, no.
Not
What I expect you to...
My conversation is, I carried you this yesterday. Would you mind maybe taking this for today? And then you tell me,
No.
There is
Okay.
there's no bad blood in asking.
What makes you think that me I'm you and I'm supposed to think for you at that particular moment in time?
We've had an argument,
Okay.
Brian, we've had an argument as a couple. Then we hang up on each other. Then I'm like, don't call me, Richie. Then you also take 3 days without calling. Who are you?
But you see,
Like, what are you thinking?
no. It's not about taking 3 days. But you know that when some people say I need space, they mean it.
Yes, but then we just have to understand.
Then why?
Yes, we have to respect boundaries, but if that's what
Dana,
I say, it's really good
Dana,
to be friends with your
Why aren't we balancing the boat? Why aren't we giving somebody a chance who has said I need space? Because the people naturally, whether if they say 3 days, they really mean the 3 days.
No.
And out of character, out of nature, out of their background, if you confront them in the 3 days, something else is likely to happen. So as a man who typically understands his or her wife or her girlfriend, I'll literally respect the 3 days. And then wait a minute, I can compel the conversation to come in slowly but sure, because you don't know the state of mind in which that particular person is in.
Brian, let me ask. We've had an argument. Like, yeah, tuyombi. Nesu kugami, I need space.
Don't call me. And you also don't call.
So why are you assuming that?
What is that?
3 days?
No.
I've only said don't call me. But you also...
Because you want more money.
But you know,
If you understand your part.
you see,
But it goes both ways. It's not only...
It is an egoistic way of dealing with things. There are people whose ego matches. They're like, I'll not call her. If she wishes, she'll talk to me. Then there are people who literally get to know exactly how things are handled. A real gentleman will definitely want to dive to understand why his particular lady or woman is not feeling the way she's supposed to feel on a day.
Let me say...
You tell someone, don't call me, don't text me, respect boundaries. And they'll respect boundaries. And it will sit in you. You tell me, you know what? Don't call me, don't text me, respect boundaries. My dear, I will not call. I will not call because I don't want to start assuming then I call.
But you may
if you know your person,
that's what I was telling. That is why I was saying we shouldn't get the ball like this.
Yes.
We need to balance.
Okay, now what if you know your person? But this time round, she really wants you to call. Though she has said,
But then how do you know Fevan?
you should know as a man.
Yes.
I don't know how, I don't know where, I don't know which, but as a man who understands, you should know.
Why is it?
No, you're not giving me chance to speak. At least call Nkujeko or demo Kube Nkujeko or show me some effort, Show me some effort that you really want me. Okay. Talk over, you're also not calling.
And then vice versa. Then hold on. Fevan, and then vice versa.
Vice versa, if you tell me not to call you, I will not call you. I will not call call you. I think you have to call me and tell me now we talk.
Yeah, so guys, we've seen and argued about the power of no. Everyone has their own understanding of no, but then to me, no means no. But then to romantic settings, I might mean yes when I say no. Brian, what do you say?
Let a no be a no, and let a yes be a yes. It's that simple.
My favorite. Yeah, let a no be a no. Like as Shah said, certain stuff, but when it comes to romantic relationships, sometimes a no is a yes. Sometimes a no means a no, and sometimes a yes means a yes, but I think we should observe body communication and understanding each other. And no matter how much you understand someone, people change like weather. So.
Okay.
Well, to me, mine is a no and my yes is a yes. I'm not going to debate on that. Sure. So guys, thank you for joining.
No sides.
No
sides.
Favor.
No sides.
Thank you for joining us. Please feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Sunny Conversations. Leave a comment below. Till next time. Ciao.
Ciao.